So with the Xbox Activision Blizzard acquisition, Microsoft offered 10-year deals to multiple different cloud gaming companies. Lots of smaller companies like Boosteroid, Ubisoft, they just recently offered a deal to Enware. They also offered 10-year deals to big companies like Nintendo and to NVIDIA GeForce. Now, one of the main companies, like I said, was Boosteroid that they made that deal for. And they made those deals because they were trying to convince the CMA that this deal overall, this merger, would help competition, would give these companies access to all of these games that would be part of Xbox Game Studios. And those companies would then be able to incentivize their customers to sign up for these smaller cloud gaming services, knowing that they would still be able to use those games via the services offered. So that obviously didn't work. The CMA blocked the deal. They believe that even with it doing that, it would still hinder competition and it would still hurt the market from growing, although it is a nascent market. We saw a lot of stuff in the previous video that I did, basically looking at the numbers and how much money Xbox was going to be making off of cloud gaming, and it was a minuscule amount compared to the entirety of the overall video game industry. So the actual reasoning behind blocking this deal via cloud gaming really is being questioned more and more. It's making less and less sense as people are diving into it and finding out more information about it. But we have this article here from WCCF Tech, and it's an interview with Boosteroid where they're saying there's no evidence of Activision games joining the cloud anytime soon, and the CMA is slowing innovation. That's big because, as we know, if this deal was to have gone through, these companies would get these Activision games. So they say here, this is in an interview with Antonina Batova, who is the head of strategic communications at Boosteroid. And she says, "We have no evidence as to that Activision is going to start providing games to cloud platforms in the near future. On the contrary, the cloud gaming community knows that Activision has quite a harsh standing on cloud gaming." So right there, I mean, that's already telling how much of an advantage this would have been for these smaller companies based on Activision's stance. It continues here and says, which only confirms that most likely they are not going to be available on cloud gaming services in the near future. In theory, it is, of course, possible that their strategy has changed, but we have no information about that and would not speculate. Now, another reasoning that the CMA blocked this deal is they said that Activision could be putting these games on cloud streaming services without this merger going through, and that they were going to be doing that in the future. But based off of a company that clearly has probably communicated with Activision in the past, trying to get these games available on their service, from what they understand, that isn't the case. Now, Antonina continues on here and says, also, the CMA's ruling is likely to do the contrary to what they are claiming, slowing the innovation and development of cloud gaming by cutting out the Activision's audience from cloud gaming services. The situation where this content is widely available in the cloud has clear benefits to the market, the competition, and most importantly to the end customers, who would then be able to play high-end Activision games on almost any device regardless of its processing power or OS. And that is just the direct strategy of Xbox and Microsoft right now. I mean, we've gone through this all with Phil Spencer's interview with Kind of Funny, where people are up in arms over stuff that he said in terms of opening up access to all of their games on any device, regardless of the processing power or the operating system via cloud gaming. It's such a huge part of their strategy, something that isn't new. We've known about this forever. People thought it was something new for some reason. Not sure why, but Boosteroid here is talking about the advantage of that and creating competition and just how much better it is for the end customer. It says, the CMA claimed the positive impact of the aforementioned deals with cloud gaming platforms like Boosteroid was highly uncertain, partly due to undisclosed clauses and provisions in those contracts cited on pages 282 and 283 of the CMA's final report. When asked about this oddly specific detail, Batova couldn't expand on the topic, but said the CMA could continue to overwatch Microsoft's commitment. And that was one of the main things with this entire deal. There was three things. There was console, cloud, and then enforcement of the commitments that Microsoft had made. And there was a whole section, Microsoft explaining how there could be Overwatch for it, how they could get a third party in there reporting on the things that were going on, and there would be a third party mediator if there were disputes between Microsoft and the third parties when it comes to Activision Blizzard. So all of that stuff was detailed in Microsoft's response to the CMA, talking about why they wouldn't have to worry about enforcement, or why the CMA wouldn't have to worry about enforcement. And Boosteroid talks about it here. And Antonina says that there's no room for extensive comments based on this. We are also not aware of what exactly the CMA refers to in these two paragraphs, but our opinion is that any potentially uncertainty in respect of the future development may be avoided if the CMA agrees to overwatch the commitments of Microsoft over time, directly or through appointed authority. This will definitely be in the interest of cloud gaming providers. The market and obviously the end users benefit greatly from major franchises by Xbox Game Studios and Activision games being widely available in the cloud. That's why major cloud gaming providers, including Boosteroid, want the deal to go through. So there you have it. Obviously, these smaller cloud gaming companies want this deal to go through because they signed those 10-year deals. And when it comes to the enforcement, that was something in CMA's response when they blocked this deal, pretty much saying there would be too much resources and it would be too intensive to actually oversee these commitments, even though there were solutions that were provided to the CMA on how this can be done. But I think it's quite clear at the end of the day, for games that potentially are never going to make their way over to these cloud streaming services, if this deal gets completely blocked, if Microsoft loses the appeal, if the deal gets blocked in the EU, it's essentially over, right? If these games never make their way over to cloud gaming services, you could thank the governments for blocking this deal and in reducing access to games, where clearly from the information that we are seeing from the responses here, it would be better for competition. It would help these companies get these massive games that people would want to play on cloud gaming services. The games that sell the most amount of money, right? Like Call of Duty, top selling game every single year, and that not being available on a small platform like Boosteroid probably hurts them more so than it helps them, of course. And Microsoft was going to allow that to happen. Now that isn't going to be the case because this deal is getting blocked, and Boosteroid here speaking out on their thoughts overall about the effect on competition. But I'll leave the video there, guys. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
We'll be right back.